It was a time of distress for the Empire. With the destruction of the Death Star, it was imperative that the rebellion pay for their cunning. Their threat could no longer be ignored. With Aphra telling Vader that the pilot is located on Vroga's Vaz, it was time for the Sith Lord to take action. Vader was on his way to Vroga's Vaz. The boy cannot hide from his destiny or from Vader. He was finally approaching the planet, but once he came out of hyperspace, he was met by a rebel squadron. They were in fact on a drill. Blue Squadron leader thought that this was a lost Imperial scout. They were going for the kill. Aphra swore to Vader that she didn't lead him into a trap, but Vader was not concerned with that. She was right about Skywalker. He can sense his presence. Aphra yelled at Vader, "Forget about Skywalker, you have to run." But no, he was a Dark Lord of the Sith. They should be running. With that in mind, the rebellion started firing on the lonely TIE fighter, but Vader started charging. They were shocked. They had never seen such movement. He started picking them off one by one. They didn't even stand a chance. Vader left a trail of destruction behind him. He was a dead man as all the units were ready to attack. Quickly, they find out his TIE Advance is equipped with the deflector shields. They had no chance. Vader continued to demolish them. They even fired torpedoes, but Vader used the Force to deflect them back. X-Wing after X-Wing. They had underestimated the Sith Lord. Once Luke approached, however, he knew it. It was Vader. The leader tried to make out a plan, but it was worthless according to Luke. They haven't seen what he has. They won't be able to do anything to stop him. Luke knew what he really had to do. He was veering off formation, going straight for Vader. He was still destroying X-Wings, but suddenly out of the fire comes a new fighter going straight for the Sith Lord. "Finally," said Vader, "a pilot worth killing." As Luke was barreling towards him, suddenly a feeling overcomes Vader. It was his son. As Luke rushed toward him and crashed his X-Wing directly at Vader's TIE Advance, they were both going down. But this was a test for Vader. If Luke survives this crash, it means that he is truly strong in the Force. Vader was down. Red Leader told them all. They finally had him down and defenseless. The Rebel ground forces were also being led by Leia, who was completely focused on finally ending Vader. They needed to use this opportunity. The Y-Wings were approaching. They couldn't notice anyone in the crash, but suddenly someone saw something. It was Vader standing there, waiting for them. As they were ready to bomb him, Vader, using the Force, lifted debris all around him and used it to crush the bombers. They were left shocked. They couldn't understand what just happened. Again, Vader, the Dark Lord of the Sith, had evaded their attack and destroyed the entire Y-Wing squadron completely. As he continued walking throughout the desert, he could sense the power of the planet. In fact, the world was once home to a Jedi temple. But suddenly, an army of rebels surround Darth Vader. With a terrifying look in their eyes, they demand that he lay down his weapons. He is surrounded. Everyone had Vader in their scopes. Vader ignites his lightsaber. All he is surrounded with is fear and dead men. The rebels yelled at Vader to surrender now, and to their surprise, the Sith Lord did just that. He accepted the surrender while the rebels stood there in shock. Vader assured them they would not be harmed, to lower their weapons. Of course, the Sith was simply biding his time. With a secret gesture, he used the Force to activate their detonators without them realizing, and by the time they actually were alerted, it was too late. Explosions now surrounded the rebels. Meanwhile, a nearby tank was targeting Vader, and once it fired, Vader immediately deflected the blast with his lightsaber and back at the tank, obliterating it completely, leaving the rebels stunned and shocked, almost all dead, and those who were left alive were disillusioned in the confusion that followed and therefore couldn't even locate Vader. They were firing without knowing where he even was, which in the end proved to be in vain. They would all suffer the same fate as the rest, all slain at the hands of the Sith. On this day, hundreds of rebels were killed with no remorse. Most of them weren't even aware they were about to die until it was already too late. However, there is another secret to this planet that both Vader and Luke are yet to be aware of. In fact, as Vader is destroying the rebellion on the other side, Luke Skywalker is waking up from the crash and stumbles upon an ancient ruin, something unknown to anyone before, a Jedi temple.